Coach, you got asked earlier about guys transferring within the conference. And I know there's rules and regulations, whether it's the NFL, MLB, and stuff with tampering, but there doesn't seem to be any policing. Like, how do you as a coach against outright cheating in the league?
Well, it's hard. Um, um, the bottom line is that guys, every one of these kids that come in here, not everyone, but every one of the guys that come in here, most of them, they know where they're going and how much they're going to get paid. So somebody had to talk to them, and so that's very, very difficult. But I think the way of the land right now is agents doing the conversations. And, there's no certification, or you have to be a certified agent or anybody. An agent can be anybody. So I think some certification there might help us as well. But um, yeah, I mean, it's a crazy world out there as far as tampering and all that. I don't know if many guys have gotten in trouble for that, and I don't see it happening.
I don't think you've been asked about this yet, but before you came on, Taylor announced that he was coming back for another year. You mentioned having finances. You mentioned next week and a half hold tight. What does that, just being on social media and being out in the public, maybe help you guys in recruiting, knowing that he's back for another year under Coach Petrino and there can be improvement there?
Yeah, I've known that for about, well, the day after my hip surgery. So I guess last Wednesday, I knew Tatum and he's such he wants to be a hog. He wants to play here. He wants to play for the state. And that's nothing against the guys that got in the portal. It isn't. Their business, their business. But it's a big deal to me that he wants to stay here and run it back and stay with Bobby and stay with that offense. I think it will be so big and beneficial to him, and it will help us in recruiting as well.
Danny. Hey, Coach, want to ask you about this signing class here. What do you like about it? And do you keep maybe a spot or two open for February?
Well, I like that we signed a lot of bigs, on the O line and D line. I think Deke Adams is doing one hell of a job, and I like that we're still a little bit signed one tight end. We've got to find some. We've had some already on campus from the portal, but um, I like our D line. I like our O line coming from that. And obviously, we felt really strong about our quarterback position and our signing there with an in state kid who we really believe in, and then one from out of state in California. And um, we felt like we did really good in there. I like this class a lot. Uh, um, it was a we saved quite a bit of money in that freshman class, certainly to go into the portal usage as well.
Appreciate it. Eric.
Yeah, Coach. Going back to your high school signing class, how many of these guys do you expect to be able to come in and contribute right
Hmm.
away?
Well, I hope the kicker can. You know, we're certainly happy about that. Bubba Craig, the old lineman out of JUCO, and he's not high school, but we certainly hope that he can help us. And that's a tough question because we've seen him on tape and against high school players, and some guys develop slower than others. But we're going to have a few of these guys help us next year, and of course they all think they're going to, and so it'll depend on work ethic and I think 18 of the 24 come in at spring ball, so that would certainly help us as well. But we like whom we signed. We didn't sign anybody that we going, oh man, I don't know about. We liked them, and so hopefully you'll have more the higher number than the lower number. But that's a hard one to say a number on, Eric. To be honest with you.
Well, with these two guys that you have coming in at quarterback, and I get it, they're both freshmen, but how much of a chance will they have to especially if they're coming in spring, how much of an opportunity will they have to compete for that job?
Well, they certainly will. Obviously, Malachi went in the portal and did it the right way, and I hope he finds what he wants. We're very high on KJ Jackson. I mean, we are, and so these guys are sitting right in there, right in the middle of the competition. These freshman quarterbacks. So we'll be excited to see what they do, but they'll have all the reps possible to get on the 2 deep, the 3 deep, or a starting quarterback job. So we're high on those kids, and obviously you got to have good quarterbacks, and we feel like we've got a really good room of quarterbacks.
Christina.
Yeah, some of these are a little obvious just as we've seen the movement on your roster already, but what do you feel like have been your biggest needs and areas of emphasis as you've been recruiting in the transfer portal? What positions do you feel like you need the most?
Offensive line would be one. Defensive line would be one. We felt like we were pretty good at the linebacker spot. If you go back and you look a year ago and the world was falling because we lost this linebacker, this linebacker, this linebacker, and I think we all agree that our linebacker room was a strength for us this year. So, but that would be probably the least worried about. We need some safeties, need some corners, need some safeties. But I think O-line, tight ends, a big deal, wide receivers. I mean, we've got several spots to fill, but off the top of my head, that's who it would be.
And then what kind of when you're going to have a depleted roster in this bowl game, just what is, I guess, the goal of this bowl prep and what can you guys get out of this bowl game when your roster looks different than it did all season and looks different than it will next year?
Well, everybody that's going to play, and not everybody, but a majority of the kids that are going to play in the bowl game are going to, be on the team next year. So we're using that as development and belief. And, just because you've been hiding over in the corner doesn't mean you can't play. It's just somebody that had developed faster or we had faith in a little bit because we've seen them do things. But I think this bowl prep is going to really enhance our football team. And we'll see. Somebody's going to come out of it and go, like Marion Harris did 2 years ago, and you're going to come out of it and go, man, we should have been playing him a little bit more, and so that's really what we're looking for. And obviously our goal is to win every bowl game that we play.
Daniel.
Can you hear?
Is there a fun side of question maybe as to how aggressive freshmen get pushing the depth chart if they're capable than maybe before in years past?
Daniel, repeat it, man. We can't hear you.
I can't hear you at all, bud.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Barely.
I guess as how volatile the portal is, does freshmen get pushed up the depth chart maybe more aggressively than they do in years past because of how quickly someone can hit the portal, that you don't get to reap the benefits of your signing class?
No, I just think it's fair to play the best kids, so I think the depth chart should spell out where we believe they are. So probably not, because if you pushed a freshman ahead of a junior and he was better than the freshman, you'd lose the junior. So you probably ought to just play who's the best and stay with that philosophy.
All right, wrap us up.
I just got a couple of quick personnel questions. I know Steven Dix is one of those linebackers you talked about that's helped out. Do you know what his plans are for next year? I think he could be a super senior.
He's
He announced he's coming back.
yeah, he's announced it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I must have missed that. And I know I hope I haven't missed any of these announcements while I've been in New York, but Chafre Brown, I know he didn't play much this year with medical. Like, is he a guy that could come back or?
No, Joffrey's he's medically redshirted and he's done. But I wish I was up in Madison Square Garden too, but
And
I've been
then
dealing with a lot of stuff.
I bet. Last one, I know Switzer was a guy. I think he's been banged up at the end of the year. Could he be back for the bowl game?
Certainly could, and hopefully he is.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. See you later.